Today we'll see what you can visit in Odenwald. Odenwald, a forested and mountainous region on the border between Hessen and Baden-Württemberg. To the north are Würzburg and Frankfurt, with Spessart between them. In the west is Mannheim, beyond which the Palatinate begins. To the east is the large region of Franconia. Odenwald itself is a rather remote place, but along its edges there are several top attractions. Let's start with the city of Bad Mergentheim. It is on two routes, the Romantic Road and the beloved Taubertal Valley. Bad Mergentheim is known primarily as the last residence of the Teutonic Order. You can visit the castle, the thermal baths and the very nice wild park. Odenwald is on the UNESCO list because it has a special geology. Cast rocks create cavities under the surface. A careless traveler may fall underground in some places, as they say in the Eberstadt stalactite cave. This is point 2 on our route. In the neighboring town of Osterberken there is also a historical park, Adventon, dedicated to the Middle Ages. Point 3, the town of Waldern. Of greatest interest is the pilgrimage Basilica of St. George. The pilgrimage began after a miracle in 1330, when an image of the crucified Christ appeared on the fabric instead of spilled wine. Above Waldern, on a short route to the main, is the open-air museum in Gottersdorf. Amorbach is a small town in a valley where roads and gorges converge. There is a large Baroque monastery and a park attached to it. In the princely church, there is the largest Baroque organ in Europe. In Urbach there is a palace with an interesting collection, antique sculpture, ivory figurines, armor, a knight's hall, porcelain. Michelstadt has a nice old half-timbered old town with a partially preserved city wall. Across the river is an old 13th century castle, which can only be viewed from the outside, and a 9th century basilica. In Odenwald, the gorges run from north to south, so it is not easy to cross from east to west. When we find ourselves on the western slopes of the mountains, the wide Rhine Valley awaits us there. The chain of cities south of Darmstadt to Heidelberg united into a touristic route called Bergstrasse. This is a car and bicycle route. The best time to visit is the second half of April and the beginning of May and October. We will divide the route along Bergstrasse into 3 parts. The first part to the city of Bensheim. There are several castle ruins on the slopes. Zwingenberg and Bensheim are old towns. But the most interesting attraction, which brings us back to the unusual geology of the region, is the Roxy Felsenmeer. To get to it, you need to drive along the road from Bensheim deep into the mountains. The ancient rocks that found themselves on the surface were used by the Romans. There are now trails for short and long walks around. In the second part of the route we first turn towards the Rhine to make a short detour to the city of Lorsch. Here we will find the ruins of the former imperial monastery of Charlemagne, founded in 764. It is included in the UNESCO list. There is an open-air museum nearby. Weinheim is a picturesque old town with 2 castles on the hills, a very beautiful garden, and a thermal swimming pool. It is best to visit the garden in the second half of April, early May, when its famous wisteria blooms. Let's turn off Bergstrasse for a while and deep into the Odenwald. A couple of things to do around Firth. Odenwald Model Railway, and a zoo of mountain animals. In Wald Michelbar there is an amusement park, a coaster, a rope course, a wooden bowling alley and a playground. We return to Bergstrasse again. The triangle Ladenburg-Heidelberg-Schriesheim is a beautiful cycling route, full of flowers in spring. But there is also something to see here. Schriesheim offers an old town, a medieval silver mine and the ruins of a castle on a hill. Stone was mined in Dossenheim. The abandoned quarry can be viewed from the outside. Ladenburg has a beautiful old town, a picturesque riverside of Nek, and a very interesting museum at the first Benz factory. 2 of the 3 surviving cars in the world produced at this factory are stored here. This museum is definitely worth a visit. please note that the museum has reduced opening hours. The next 3 points are top attractions. Each of these cities has its own page on the website, where they are described in detail. In Speyer there is an imperial cathedral, a historical museum, a very large technical museum. Schwetzingen is famous for its summer palace and large park. The best time of this park is March when cherry blossoms blooms. Heidelberg, one of the most beautiful cities in Germany. A funicular railway, observation decks, castle ruins, a zoo and an old university await you. Finally, sites along the southern edge of Odenwald. From Heidelberg to Heilbronn we travel along the Neckar. This is one of the best cycling, walking, driving and rail routes in Germany. Part of the route from Heidelberg can be covered by ship. The best time is autumn. There are 2 topics on the website dedicated to the route along the Neckar, with detailed maps. The Neckar route is the first part of the long international tourist route, the Castle Road. The name is not accidental. You will see a whole procession of castles, fortresses and old cities. The continuation of the Castle Road is indicated in blue. Particularly interesting along this segment are the old town of Bad Wimpfen and Sinsheim, where there is a second site of the Technical Museum, and a large thermal pool with a dome and palm trees. Finally, point 16 for lovers of cycling routes. The Jagsttal route, especially the section Schontal-Bad Friedrichshall. The route is almost everywhere separated from the roadway. Along the way you will be accompanied by high hills, small villages and old cities. There is a large Baroque monastery in Schontal. Here are just some of the photos of the region. Route along the Neckar. Sinsheim. AE equals Jagsttal. Jagsttal. More information about the cities and routes presented can be found on the website.